Hello, this is Dr. Marina McLean, and I'm reading with you today from Psalms 53. The fool had said in his heart, "There is no God." Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. God looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand, and that did seek God. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy, who eat up my people as they eat bread. They have not called upon God. Were they in great fear when no fear was. For God hath scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee, and thou hast put them to shame, because God hath despised them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when God bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Chapter 54. Save me, O God, by thy name, and judge me by thy strength. Hear my prayer, O God. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers are risen up against me, and oppressors seek after my soul. They have not set God before them. Selah. Behold, God is mine helper. The Lord is with them that uphold my soul. He shall reward evil unto mine enemies, and cut them off in thy truth. I will freely sacrifice unto thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good. For he hath delivered me out of all trouble, and my heart and my eye hath seen his desire upon mine enemies. Chapter 55. Give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint, and make a noise, because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me. My heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. And I said, Oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then would I fly away and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander far off and remain in the wilderness. Selah. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and the tempest. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that had reproached me, that I could have borne it. Neither was he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide and mine acquaintance, who we took sweet counsel together, and walked unto the house of God in company. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many with me. God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old. Selah. Because they have no changes, therefore they fear not God. He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shalt bring down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust thee. Psalms 56. Be merciful unto me, O God, for man will swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresseth me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me, O thou Most High. What time am I afraid? I will trust in thee. In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps when they wait for my soul. Shall they escape my iniquity? In thine anger cast down the people, O God. Thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in thy book? When I cry unto thee, then shall mine enemies turn back. This I know, for God is for me. In God will I praise his word, and in the Lord will I praise his word. In God have I put my trust. I will not be afraid. What man can do unto me? Thy vows are upon me, O God. I will render praises unto thee. For thou hast delivered my soul from death. Will not thou deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of the living? Chapter 57. Be merciful unto me, O God. Be merciful unto me, O God. Be merciful unto me, for my soul trusteth in thee. Yea, in the shadow of thy wings will I make my refuge. Unto thee, until these calamities be overpast, I will cry unto God Most High, unto God that performeth all things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Selah. God shall send forth his mercy and his truth. My soul is among lions. I lay even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. But thou, exalted, O God, above the heavens, let thy glory be above all the earth. For they have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me. Into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Selah. My heart is fixed, O God. My heart is fixed. and I will sing and give praise. Awake up, my glory, awake. Psaltery and harp, I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Psalms 58. Do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart you work wickedness. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent, and they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. Let them melt away as waters which run continually when he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows. Let them be as cut in pieces. As a snail which melteth, let every one of them pass away. Like the untimely birth of a woman, that they may not see the sun. Before your puts can feel the thorns, he shall take them away as with the whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. The righteous will rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He will wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, Verily, there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a God that judgeth the earth. Bless you and have a great day.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover in a year. My name is Summer Day, and with me in the studio is Dr. Marina McLean.
Oh, I love the way you said that.
Well, I'm just trying to keep up with you and your beautiful, fabulous accent.
Thank you. I will get you sitting up and talking properly and enunciating in any minute now.
Okay, I shall work on that. Fabulous, darling. Well, let's start with, where are you from? Where's this beautiful accent from?
I was born and raised in London.
Okay.
And my parents are Caribbean. Both my husband and I and 3 children, and then I have 3 young adults, were born and raised in London. They've all lost their accents. I refuse to lose mine.
Please refuse.
But I've been here in Texas over 25 years.
Okay, so you live in Texas now?
I live in Texas, and wherever I travel here in the United States, and I say I'm from Dallas, they say, nah, nobody in Dallas sounds like that. Well, there are quite a few of us here now. But I just love the mixture of culture that is in me, because I get to bring people into my culture, and then I love adopting culture. And so growing up in a Christian home, always having missionaries always stayed at our house when we had conventions. So the world was birthed in me from a young age.
Nice.
So, but moving to the States was a challenge. I came kicking and screaming those 10-hour flight, my son and I. Everybody else was excited to come, because when you've got a core, and we had a church, we had a Bible school. I had a friend that would move into my house, take care of my kids when I traveled.
Yep.
And so I had my community, right? Yeah. And then to give up your community and not know anyone where I was coming to in Dallas was just like, oh, Lord.
Oh, yes.
And so it was a process. But when people ask me now,
I understand this process well.
yes,
When the Lord told me to sell everything and move in an RV, and we did it for 3 years. For 3 years, we had no community. We never knew sometimes where it would be the next week.
so for me, coming here, my friends were just like, what is God doing with you? I said, I don't know. But the beautiful thing is, I prayed that my church would release us, because they'd grown with us. We started from just my husband and I and our children and 8 people. We started a church that evolved into a Bible school, right? He traveled the world while I had children. And so when I had children, I was able to travel. But when we got ready to leave, strangers, because of our community, London, you knew your neighbors.
Yeah.
Your neighbors' kids were always in your house eating your food.
That sounds awesome.
Right? So that was a time back then where your children were safe in somebody else's home, right? And so when we got ready to leave, I don't know why I'm telling you this. Maybe it's because you told me that you packed up everything. But when we got ready to leave, strangers would knock on my door and say, hey, we hear you're leaving and you can't take your electrical stuff. So they would come. My washing machine went to somebody. We went out one day and came back, and my husband sold the cooker, and it didn't come with the house. This is what happens. And so it was just a heartwarming and grieving at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we're really leaving. And at the same time, we saw our things, our possessions going to somebody else, stranger, to bless them. Wow. So it was a mixture. But when God says go, faith, we preach faith.
Yeah.
We believe in faith, but when you have to live by it, it's a whole nother level.
That's why it's called fear into faith.
Yes, I understand.
The fear starts first.
Yeah, and for those that are watching from the outside, they don't know if that fear is courage or foolishness. Right? Yeah, they don't. For you, it's fear. To them, some see you as courageous. Some see you, oh yeah, you're a fool right now. But I trust God, and you understand this, and I hope your audience will understand this. When you trust God, there's no plan B.
Yeah, so good.
When you trust Him, there's no plan B. You have to trust Him wholeheartedly. Yeah, you have your days where I believe God today, and tomorrow is just like, oh no, Lord, you're gonna have to show up. But I can truly say we've been in this journey for over 40 years, and we're married 40 years. Coming this September.
40 years.
40 years.
Wow. And then you said kids. How many kids do you have?
So 3, 2 girls and a son. My son's in the middle. But if I say their ages, they will just stone me. Yeah. So, but they're grown folk. My youngest is going to be 30. Who remains?
You said you're not going to age them.
Yes. But she's staying at 25. So let's just let's just stay there.
Good.
But it's just been trusting God.
Yeah.
And the hardest part as people are walking through their struggles today is trusting God, hearing His voice, and believing what He says.
Yeah. If somebody asked you, how do you hear God's voice? If they wanted to learn to trust God or wanted to learn to hear His voice more, what would you say?
So I've done this in a simple way, because when my husband traveled a lot in our early years, I would sit on my bed and say, God, we need to talk.
Oh, I like that.
And so that's my go-to. Whenever I have to have a moment, I sit on the edge of my bed and I say, God, we need to talk. And talking and listening, because some people hear Him audibly. I hear Him from within.
Yeah.
And then that's how I know it's Him over the enemy, because His voice is softer. His voice has always been softer to me.
True,
and then even though He's asking this immense thing of me, but it's that peace that it's Him.
Wow.
And so I would say, listen to that still small voice. But some people hear Him audibly. My husband hears Him audibly. I have to be still. God forces me to be still to hear Him.
Yeah.
And I've been in chaotic situations, and my friends are like, why are you quiet? And then somebody will say, she's hearing God.
So good.
Yeah, she's in her discipline. And the thing is, each one of us have to find our own discipline about hearing God.
Yeah.
I've had friends that they hear Him in the noise. They hear Him above the noise.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I just hear noise. I have to get still. And I always say the enemy hates when I'm still. He will keep me busy, distracted, because the minute I get still, I can hear God's voice. And that's His discipline with me.
So good. I love it. Yeah. I tell people, I've never heard the booming voice of the Lord. There's been one or two times I thought it might have been audible, but it was quiet. But in general, for me, I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it very tremendously and strongly in a different way. And, so I can't explain how I know when God's talking
Exactly,
to me.
exactly.
I love that you're like, you got to explore that. You got to know what's your discipline. I like how you say
Yeah. For my husband, he can hear God while he was sitting in conversation. So we got married early at 20 and 21, both from large families, right? And I would cook dinner. I was a bad cook at that time. And we'd cook dinner and then we'd sit down and his body was there, but he had left the building.
Okay.
And I would be so angry at God. I was just like, I'm used to talking to people. And we'd have our church service and he would share what the angel said to him while we were sitting at the dinner table.
Wow.
Everybody is so excited. I am angry at the Lord my God because like Jacob was in his presence and didn't know it. But that forced me, that jealousy forced me to want God for myself, to have that experience. And so I hope that as they're hearing us, they'll say, this is for me too. I can hear the voice of God.
I think so often people, hear about God talking to somebody else or somebody had a vision or somebody saw Jesus walk through their door.
Yes.
And they think, well, I haven't had that experience, so I haven't experienced the Lord. And when I know you have friends in Israel, but when I went there, the first time I went there, I remember hearing that God speaks to us through his creation and realizing that he is not talking to me the way he's talking to you.
No.
Or your husband or any of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got to take a break really quick.
Oh, well.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Are you traveling long-term internationally? Moving to another country? How's your furry family member going to get there? You won't be able to just buy them a plane ticket. There's a whole series of processes and red tape that no one wants to sift through. You need a partner. You need Doggone Taxi. We take the confusion and headache out of moving your pet to your new country. We take care of the shipping, the fees, the health permits, and anything else that your destination country requires. Visit DoggoneTaxi.com and get your free move quote today. That's DoggoneTaxi.com.
Life is full of real challenges. Find simple solutions on the Dr. Centrell Show right here on Zondra TV.
We're back and we're talking with Marina. We left off. We're talking about how God just talks to everybody different.
Yes.
And when I heard the words, he speaks to us through his creation. And we're his creation.
Yeah.
I think so oftentimes people don't realize that God will use somebody else to speak to us.
Yes.
He'll use somebody else to do confirmation or something like that. And I think a lot of times people miss it.
Yeah.
They're waiting to hear from the Lord and they don't understand the person standing right here is the person that the Lord has sent to speak to you.
So I'm a worshiper. And I write our songs. Sometimes I write it right there in the presence. And so when I talk about hearing God, so what I've learned to do is create an atmosphere. And when I write the songs, I say to them right from the get-go before I start, my altar call is to the worshipers. Because the worshipers know how to worship. You don't have to tell a worshiper to lift their hands. And so when the worshipers worship, we create an atmosphere for everyone else to enter in.
That's good.
We're not calling you to lift your hands. Because I have this phrase, Summer, that how do you make a person hungry? You eat in front of them.
That's good.
Because you're never hungry until somebody else is eating.
Or until you go to the grocery store. Somehow that happens too.
And so that hunger of watching somebody enjoy makes you want to enjoy too.
That's good.
And so when you create an atmosphere of worship, you make people want to worship. Because it's not, she's just up there by herself. No, it's that thing that David said, that everything that hath breath. And my interpretation of that is you have to respond. There's something about being in the presence of God, even if you're unsaved, you're responding in your own way. You're crying. We've been in meetings. Why am I crying? I'm not a crier. The presence of God. It's how you respond in that presence. And it's not generic, it's personal. Yeah.
There's few things that I love more than to see someone experience the presence of God in a way they haven't before. and whatever that looks like, you know, whether it's the crying or it's the, you know, falling to the ground, whatever it is, when you get to see someone experience the presence of God, and sometimes even for the first time, ever experience I feel like there's nothing greater than that.
Transformation takes place before your eyes.
Yeah, there's a look on their face too. It's just the peace of God, the joy of the Lord. People can't make that up. You know, I taught theater for 25 years. I put over 20,000 people
I'm
on
learning
stages.
so much about you.
So I tell people, I was like, you know, I could tell if a person's faking something. I taught
body language,
all of it.
Yes.
You can't fake some of the things that I've seen where people experience the Lord in just a profound and beautiful way.
Yeah, and then you get the miraculous, when the miraculous takes place, you know, we've had meetings like that. A lady that had breast cancer, I knew that she was believing God for a new breast. Oh, wow. And the atmosphere, she got it during worship. And so when it was time for testimony, she came up and gave her a testimony that she said, I've been believing God because I had a mastectomy years ago when I was younger, and I've always believed God. She had a full-grown breast, and you can't make that up.
Come on.
You can't make that up.
You know that we have a Bible journal called The Year of Miracles?
No.
That's 52 stories of miracle signs and wonders, and that's our other TV show.
Yeah.
I have 52 people I'm interviewing that have stories like that.
Yeah.
Stories where people were healed of AIDS,
Yes.
just like all kinds of stuff.
I love what you are doing, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, we just spent a little time talking, and I'm just like, I love this lady. But you know, we talk the same language because you cannot see people excel without seeing them transformed. And when I say that is, no matter how crushed a person is, just get them in front of or have an encounter with God.
Yeah.
No matter how much you pour into and tell them they can do this, they can be this, one encounter with God shatters all the mindset and all the struggles.
Yeah.
You and I have come through things, fear, doing it in fear, but knowing that God is going to back us up all the way.
Yeah. So we traveled in an RV for 3 years. We went to 31 states. And so I went to all kinds of different churches. And I loved it. I love being able to go to different churches, small churches, big churches, new pastors have been around forever. And I saw so many amazing things. And then I also saw so many disheartening things. You know, I saw pastors that too big for their britches, that love the fame. I saw mega churches where this is clearly business, not Jesus. And I saw so many churches where I realized that a lot of people in this country are just checking a box. Church is a box, like Monday Night Football. And it's just what you do. The kids go to school and then they go to church. And so it's very disheartening to see that so many people don't actually experience God at church. We do our Fear and Faith live events, and it's 3 days of Holy Spirit. We're waiting for someone to levitate. It's absolutely crazy what Jesus is doing. I mean, we had oil pouring off of the event.
Oh, yeah.
And
We
like,
understand that.
That's us, but I have person after person saying, I've never seen anything like this. I've never experienced it. I've never heard anyone pray like that in church. And I'm just like, well, why? Why? And that's why it's the global Bible revival, because when his word is revived, miraculous is going to be commonplace.
Absolutely. So again, I tell you that I'm a worshiper. So one of the things when I teach on worship is that there's 3 things. You have to have the word. The word is your foundation. You pray the word. And if you pray the word, then you can worship with the word. Because out of the word comes your love for the Father. You're not just quoting King James, you're adding, because everybody can say, the Lord is my shepherd. But let me tell you why he's my shepherd. Let me tell you when he's been my shepherd. Let me tell you when he led me through. Let me tell you what I walked through. And those become the personal things that when you've experienced it, oh my gosh, the word is alive. You made the word now come alive. And I'm so thankful for what God has put on you as a mandate to do, because the word is our final authority. You know, it's our foundation, but it's our final authority. The church body and as a leader, we're being challenged. Right? They're so rampant in sin and what they've legalized the sin. But when you measure it against the word, as a leader, we can't back off. We have to stand on the word. So I really applaud you for picking up this sword and running with it.
Well, I kicked and screamed many times.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or
by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.